Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Dexter New Blood, Season 1, Episode number 3. This episode, I think it gave us a bigger window into who Harrison is, how he sort of acts
Oh,
around other
yeah.
people. I like the story for Harrison a whole lot more than I did Episode 2. I feel like we actually understand this kid a little bit more.
Yeah, I think we're finally really getting to know him. And in all the ways I think we suspected Harrison might have his own dark passenger, there is something definitely dark about him.
There's a lot of psychology we got to get into in this episode because there's a lot of weird people in Iron Lake, and I think there's room with that to theorize about Kurt, about whoever is running the mystery hotel bunker.
Mm-hmm.
Before we go further, though, of course, hit that subscribe button because every week we are here talking about Dexter New Blood, and if you missed it, we just covered the premiere of Power Book 2 Go Season 2 at the channel.
Yeah, it was really good. It was a good premiere. I was really excited that it was coming back, and they found their footing in a lot of stuff. It was a good premiere. So we do have that review up at the channel, and we also have Succession coming up tonight, which is a show that Matt and I really love, and we love covering it.
Okay, so let's just get this out of the way. The best part of this episode is clearly Deb firing off the various limbs in the what is this?
In the Fargo wood chipper.
Listen, this is what I like about the Deb part of it. It's so weird.
It was so weird
And so absurd, but there were these dark, funny moments in the original Dexter that I think people forget about a lot of the time.
Oh, I agree. There was a lot of that sort of really dark, weird, gruesome horror in the original Dexter that has been missing, but not in this episode.
No, like that is like one of the best parts about it. And then the other thing that I'm sort of left with after this episode is this weird, interesting new mystery. And I think we just got to talk here about Kurt at the end of this episode.
Yeah, we gotta talk about who is kidnapping these women, who is shooting these women, and why is it Kurt? Because when this killer pulled that mask over their face, there was a beard there, and it was very obviously there. It is him.
It makes sense because, Clancy Brown was billed as the big bad entering this season, but the part of it that I don't quite understand here is why. Now, bear with me for a moment, everybody. Things are about to get really weird here on this channel.
Okay.
We saw like you said, the pulling the mask over, the letting we see the escapee run out and then get shot. Mm-hmm. And then we see this scene of what looks almost like some sort of blood transfusion that's going on where the blood is sort of coming out and going into a bucket.
It's looking like an embalming. I'm a former funeral director, and it looked like this person was being injected with an embalming fluid, and then the blood, of course, is leaving because that's how it works. You're replacing one fluid with another, the embalming fluid, then the blood leaves the system, and that's what's being put in place. So that's what looked like was going on. Whoever it was washing the body, which is also part of funeral directing, and looks like they were being embalmed.
See, this is why your expertise is very needed here, because where I was about to go with this was
you thought it was like a blood transfusion. It didn't look like a blood going in and a blood going out. It looked like a blood going out, and it looked like an embalming fluid going in.
See, I was wondering if they were taking that blood and then somehow Kurt was then going to get this blood and it was causing him to go crazy, hence him thinking that he was FaceTiming his son Matt, because why lie?
I personally, this is my theory. Why is Kurt lying about this?
Yeah.
I think that he's lying about this to kind of cover up, I guess, what he was doing. Because if he's also the person that's embalming this body, that takes a long time. It takes, at least an hour and a half, if not longer, depending on the condition of the body and what's going on. It's a very long process. So if he needs some sort of an alibi, he could be trying to say, oh, Matt's my alibi, we were FaceTiming, or because he was at the bar celebrating, he had a good night, he got his kill, he's feeling good about himself. We saw Dexter even say, why would Kurt be so happy. This does not look like a man grieving. No, he's not a man grieving. He just shot and killed somebody. He's feeling good about it. He is celebrating at a bar, and he has to have a reason for that. And his reason is, Matt's alive. We were FaceTiming. Look how great everything is.
And maybe somewhere down in his heart of hearts as well, he knows that having like all this attention around Iron Lake, even if it's for nothing directly associated with him, is probably bad news. So he's probably on some sort of dark level, having to kind of try to swallow some of his own guilt and grief and pain and just be like, okay, I need to act like he's still alive just to make these people just shoo off into the distance.
Yeah, I think if he is the killer, and I feel pretty confident that he is the person that is killing these young women, he needs to have this wrapped up. He needed to be out there saying, hey, make sure you do everything you can to find my son. He has to look like he cares. But then at the same time, he does need this wrapped up.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't have this wrapped up at the time that he's now killing another person, people are going to be around him all the time, calling him for information, calling to get, give more information, get more information, whatever it is. Having cops around him is not great. He needs it wrapped up. And him FaceTiming with Matt wraps it up.
Maybe it was the arrival of true crime podcaster slash influencer. Listen, I don't hate all of these characters, but I hate the way that this one was presented, because if you're a serious true crime like podcaster, enthusiast, filmmaker, whatever, you're probably not taking like frickin' selfies out around the scene of the investigation. It just made her look so trivial and like she was treating her job as a joke.
Right. Except we've seen influencers do some strange stuff. I think it was even a couple weeks ago, there was an influencer who was taking these really weird selfies beside the casket of her father who had passed away. I don't know if you heard about that story or if you guys heard about that story, but it was pretty divided. There were some people that were like, that's how she's dealt with her grief. And as a former funeral director, people do deal with grief in different ways. But then there's also the other side where it's kind of like she's making these weird poses beside her father. And she was kind of like, oh, my father would have wanted this. That's possible too. Who knows? People do weird stuff as influencers and we see it all the time. So this podcaster showing up and being kind of strange. Yeah. Okay. I believe it.
I guess I believe it. I just don't like her. I want her to go away. I don't think she's...
I think it's just us as influencers with our 2,700 people over on Instagram, Matt and Jess TV, if you want to follow us there. It really is, unbelievable, because we would never.
Yeah, maybe I'm just jealous that, we can't, travel to remote areas to do, these weird selfies.
No, I'm not jealous of that.
I
am happy to not be an influencer.
No. That is all the truth. But I don't know about that character. That character is one of the real big problems I had in this episode.
No, I agree. I just don't think we need another character. For me, what I need is to get to know the characters that are already there.
Yeah.
I needed to get to know Kurt more. I need to know Angela more. I mean, we're getting to know her daughter more, who I'm kind of lukewarm on.
Yeah.
We're getting to know her more, but I'm kind of just feeling, I don't know, I'm not feeling her, especially when she was talking about true crime stuff where she was like, oh, murder, it's funny. I'm just like, I don't think anyone would really say that. It's just strange. I can't get into her. I'm really sorry.
It's hard because she's trying to act like she's this sort of friend to Harrison at one point, but then she's like buddy with all the jerkwads at school, and then she justifies it by being like, well, I know they suck, but they're the only people here, so I might as well put up with them. Listen, I grew up in a small town too. I didn't hang out with people who sucked because guess what? It was better being alone than hanging out with them.
Yeah, and Harrison made a different choice too. He's decided to befriend Ethan, who they were torturing since kindergarten. This has been going on for so long. And this was the part of the episode that I really liked.
Yes.
I liked that Harrison was just bold enough to straight up be done with them. The minute he saw that, he was like, no, it's not happening. Hey, Ethan, this has been going on. This is where I stand on it. And that he's, brave and bold and just truly doesn't care.
Yeah, I really I really liked all of that. I like what Harrison did, and as dark and sort of just like garish as those drawings were and those creations of Ethan's were, I appreciate that there's this really super weird, potentially dangerous character who's been sort of introduced now, because it gives like the Iron Lake world another layer of depth. And like this is the sort of character, this Ethan, who we have seen in Dexter over the years. And all of a sudden, Harrison's story to me is so much more interesting now, because now he knows something about this character that no one else really does.
Yeah, he knows that if he ever wants to kill any of these jocks like
Yeah.
Zach, that Ethan is an easy person to take the fall for it. Ethan's been being bullied since kindergarten. He's
Yeah.
got these weird drawings that have Zach's name on it. That's where I feel like we are going with this.
Apparently Harrison at some point along the way has also developed some like really crazy like action hero abilities where he could just be like whoosh and make sure that like nothing happens.
Yeah, he has said that he learned these things in foster care. I don't think any of us really believe that. Maybe they were taught by Hannah. Maybe Hannah got someone to teach him some of this stuff. I mean, the whole foster care thing is still kind of a question mark because Harrison has other family.
I have a theory. Maybe, and this is a good crossover with another show
Like,
we're
where's
covering
Aster?
later this year. Maybe it turns out that the foster parent for Harrison was none other than Daniel LaRusso, and he is learning all the dips. Sweep the leg, Harrison.
Yeah,
No. I don't. I do wonder about Aster and Cody too. Like, they are still a part of this world, and we haven't seen them or heard from them at all.
No, it kind of doesn't make any sense. Usually, I would think that social workers would look for other family, and he has other siblings. There are other family members. So I do hope that we get some sort of answers on that at some point. But the Harrison stuff, it was really good. It was good to kind of see that he's got that killer instinct. They are, I feel like, setting up something, that something's going to happen with those kids at school. I don't know what role Ethan is going to play, except that, he's going to take the fall. I'm not sure. But it's finally getting me feeling very interested in what is going on with Harrison.
The only thing about, I guess, Audrey, the daughter of Angela, that's kind of sort of interesting right now is we have like her and Harrison go off to try to figure out how they want to deal with the deer and give it sort of a proper farewell.
Yeah.
And we see Audrey run into billionaire Creepshow Olsen, who does this whole like, get in my car, I have candy sort of bit, which is just like, really? How did you become a billionaire? And you are so messed up. And the thing is, I know all the evidence is pointing, of course, towards Kurt as being like the perpetrator and all of, but how is this guy fitting into the story? Like, he's gotta be somehow involved in something.
It feels like Olsen is really just there to take as could be a second person. Is it Olsen? Is it Kurt? And I think the biggest issue is that it's the beard. When he pulled that mask over his face, that beard was like pushing out that it just can't be Olsen. Like, he doesn't have a beard as well. They needed Olsen to also have a beard.
Yeah, I think they either needed that or they needed to present a slightly different shot. And maybe they screwed up on that, or maybe they forgot.
They gave away way too much.
Yeah, I think they sort of set them up in a weird position, because it's kind of a missed opportunity. Like, I'm really enjoying Dexter New Blood, but I think having a good mystery at the heart of it where we are still guessing, and if we're both still sitting here and being like, okay, we there's saw a hint of a beard, we know that Clancy Brown's a pretty big name, he's not going to play a nothing burger character, he's obviously the big bad.
Yeah, I think the bigger mystery is not, is it Kurt? I think it's more of what is he doing? Because right now, all the sort of evidence that we have is he's got women that he's locking up in a room with no doors. Then he's playing really awesome music from the 50s, which I appreciate greatly because I am stuck in that same time warp because of my dad and his taste in music. Thanks, Dad. And then he's releasing them so that he can shoot them. Then he's performing this embalming on them. Like, what is the purpose of this? Like, what is he doing? That's the mystery that I'm more interested in.
And I think on some level, Dexter has always sort of been about exploring the humanity of a lot of these people. You know, why do they become killers? Why do they act the way that they do? And we're in an interesting spot now because if it's Dexter, if it's Harrison, I think we have two people who are both sort of windows into this world. And I feel like Dexter's probably going to be the one who uncovers the truth about Kurt first. But what if it's Harrison?
Yeah, we've learned that Harrison is extremely smart and
Yeah.
that if you get a really good mark on your test, you're going to be called in and called a cheater. Where I was kind of like, what? What? Why would you automatically assume that he cheated? Oh, because I left a student in the room with a telephone for 15 minutes. Okay, well, why would you do that? Like,
Yeah.
what? That is on you. Why would you do that? So if he had gotten like a mediocre mark or just a little bit okay, then you would have been like, all right. But he can't possibly have gotten that mark because we left him with a phone.
No, no.
Bad teaching. Take everybody's phones. What is going on? No, no, no. That was ridiculous.
Here's
You're too smart. That can't be possible.
here's what we've learned about Iron Lake so far through the first few episodes. These people aren't very experienced in dealing with, well, pretty much anything, and because of that, all of them have various degrees of kind of sucking at their jobs. It's like when we bring in the CSI mastermind who, Dexter is quote unquote so fascinated by because he loves the show. Like, this guy is like running circles around everyone, and it's just sort of like, see, this is what you guys are all lacking, like people with like legitimate ability.
He was great. I know that they, put him out there as this bumbling whatever, dropping some stuff, but man, he was great. He got everything.
And
Dexter should be worried about that. And the other thing he needs to start being worried about are cameras. This whole town is covered in cameras. Like, even when he was out there trying to put Matt's scent everywhere, you were just told that there's cameras all through here. Yes, there are blind spots, but there wasn't even just a shot of Dexter looking up to see where those blind spots really are as he's out there putting the scent everywhere, because he was all over the place. And now you know that this whole town has cameras everywhere. So you're incinerating Matt's remains and you didn't look up another camera.
This I would be really mad about this if it wasn't for the fact that like the show even addressed it, with Dexter himself being like, I've gotten sloppy. And it's no kidding, you've gotten sloppy. You put yourself in a really bad position where you had to go on a wild goose chase to try to hide the body. You almost get mauled by a bear at one point, which for some reason I found really amusing. And then you try to incinerate the body. Guess what? You're probably being watched for that.
It's more than just I've gotten sloppy over the years. This feels like a first kill of his. Nothing has come back. Everything is so messy, just a complete mess. That's the part of this Dexter that I am having the hardest time with. I can expect him to have a little bit of messiness, a little bit of, oh, I'm rusty, but it feels like everything is rusty and everything is messy.
I think the part of it that I'm having my biggest amount of trouble, I guess, wrapping my head around is I know he didn't kill before he killed Matt. I get that. I understand that. But I have a hard time believing that over this past decade, give or take, Dexter never thought about killing, never sort of fantasized about what it would be like, or if he did kill somebody, where would he hide the body? How would he sort of go about it? Those urges still had to be there for him, so I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't sort of have a plan A or even a plan B. I would understand him not having 25 different ideas, but I would have thought he would have maybe had just one or two in case he lost control.
He was very well taught by Harry. He has been doing this for years. He knows what he needs to do to not get caught. And because he had been doing this for so many years, I'm having a harder time believing that he would be this messy, because it was a very ingrained routine that he has had of how to get away with murder, and that he knows how to do this. He even made his kill room and got everything together properly. he knows how to do this as a routine for all these years. I'm having a tough time believing that he has forgotten everything that
Yeah.
Harry has taught him. And even outside of that, just the routine of it.
Yeah, and I mean I want to say it's maybe because Harrison is there, maybe that's causing his mind to just go kind of a flutter all over the place, but I don't know. I don't really know if that's it cuz Dexter has been such a, focused guy, and it's Harrison was still around 10 years ago when he was doing it. So it's not like it's this totally brand new. But I will say overall, I am really enjoying Dexter New Blood. It's so good to have it back. It's still nostalgic. It's still weird. I thought episode 2 was a miss because there was too much Harrison and not enough context. It feels like we're getting back on track here. I still like the premiere the most out of these three.
Yeah, I like the premiere the most out of these three. Two was so for me. Three is getting better. I think the biggest thing for me that was missing was just actually getting to know the characters that are there. I needed to know more about Harrison. I need to know more about Angela. I need to know about Kurt. I just needed to know more about the supporting cast. That was one of the things that Dexter did really well with everyone else that was there.
Yeah, and I hope we have a lot more to go this season. I'm sure there are some particularly big twists. And with that in mind, let's turn this over to you guys. What do you think Kurt is doing? What is Olsen up to? Is he just a red herring there for obvious reasons? But give us all your thoughts and theories in the comments. We love reading them, and hit that subscribe button. Check out our coverage of Succession,
Yep.
of Power Book 2 Ghost.
Yes.
We will see you here next time.